Okay, welcome everybody. We have another community live and interview. Today we're interviewing Kim Robbins, and I've known Kim in the community and talked with her, and she's a pretty amazing lady. She's doing some really cool stuff in her community, and I wanted her to come on and share with you part of what's been her journey that's gotten here, and then how does she help people because we're all on this healing mission together, right? This community is all about transformation, transforming your healing, and it's going to take different ingredients. So, Kim, welcome.
Thank you so much, Tony. Oh, what a lovely welcome. If you actually want me to start, I can shorten it. I've always been into health and fitness, and when I was in my early 20s, my dad and I took up jogging when it wasn't even a fad. So it's always just been ingrained. And my dad was the first one I ever had seen him do fasting, and it grew. It was kind of a natural growth.
How did he
So
fast? How did
he
your
would
dad
go
fast?
he would go with just water for 3 days,
Wow,
a and then
that's
would still
hardcore.
jog. Yeah, so he was in really good shape. Mind you, unfortunately, he passed away at 49, but that was a brain hemorrhage, which, I think he thought if he kept on working out and jogging, that all that would be prevented. However, he was in good shape otherwise. Yeah,
Mhm.
so we went from that to fast forward to I'm married and I have my first son. And Eric was born 30 weeks preemie. I'm sorry, at 30 weeks gestation. So he ended up being premature, 3 pounds, 4 ounces. But I
Mm.
will condense this a little bit. So aside from already having that health and wellness uh, built within me, I knew that he ended up with uh, hydros- hydrocephalus and cerebral palsy. And at this point in time, he's 38, but he's ended up with 36 neurosurgeries. So,
Wow.
yeah, so I knew I couldn't prevent those surgeries. So the only thing I could do, the next best thing a mother can do, is make sure that his immunities were strengthened so that he'd come back. But
Yeah.
I mixed up in the words, so I just want him to, bounce back from, like, post-surgery, and it worked. It was my only way of controlling it because I the surgeries were usually emergency blocks, and I couldn't do much about that. So
Well,
that's where
let me just stop you for a sec because that's pretty amazing. So, did your father pass before or after your son was born?
unfortunately, before
So you already had that trauma in your life,
I
and then
did.
you're born blessed with the gift of a son, but who need some extra special care, and
Exactly.
that's very draining, right? I mean, it's a beautiful thing,
It was.
but it can also be really draining being a caregiver with the extra responsibilities and to go through all those surgeries. How did like how that's so hard.
Um, I'm not even really sure how to respond to that. All I know is at a very early stage in the game, I knew I couldn't fall apart. Always had it in my head. I always was strong. I can't fall apart. I'm the one that's got to keep this together. So I can't let it run my life. I have to run with it. So unfortunately, I did have to decline on I was a tariff rater for customs, and I had to leave that job because Eric needed me at home. Now, we didn't have the finances for me to do that, but we didn't have any other choice. So that's
Wow.
another matter in itself. So I transported him. I'd pump milk at home for breast milk and transport it to Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto. And so he was not home. He was born November 3rd, but his due date was the 31st.
Hmm.
So I did that run 3 times a week on subways, cars, bad weather, good weather, whatever. And at that time, the surgeries, they had the old section, you're Niagara Falls, so you're familiar with the hospital, right? So they didn't have any of those, bed private rooms yet. So if you stayed down there with your baby, you were in a 8 baby ward, even if it was intensive care, and you sat in a wooden rocking chair with nowhere to go but up.
Mm.
So, and in the initial stages, we'd be there for 14 days. Then over time, they dropped it down to 10. Then the next thing you know, it was 5. Then the next thing you know, it was 3. Then it was down to 2. So within 2 days, they're back out, but often back in because things, well, my son wanted to get up and play basketball down in the kids' room. So they, he, it became so natural to him. I'm not saying he didn't suffer from it because he still does, but it became so natural. We didn't make it a huge deal in our life. We just incorporated it into our life, and he was used to that. Like, oh, here we go again, you know.
Yeah.
So his
Yeah.
fears were even a little bit squashed because of that, but he still has his times. And yeah, so he's been a real good trooper with it all. He's very bright, he's very funny.
Wow, that's amazing.
But he's lost out on a life, right? Yeah. But so that kept me going throughout. And I did go back to work, but I kept a suitcase packed in my car because I was called from the babysitter often to leave work and take in the sick kids. So we know the hospital route inside and out, but then along, so you think you're doing okay, and we're back, not thinking we're ever going to have any more. In 6 years, we decide, let's try this again. So
Okay.
we had a daughter, and she was perfect size, blue eyes, blonde hair, bubbly. Then as things started moving along, we started discovering she had severe migraines from the time she was 6. And as we went along, she ended up with POTS, posterior orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which when she stood up,
Hmm.
her heart rate would drop and she'd
Yep.
faint. And so I figured you'd know that. That I just really kind of explaining it for other people, but I know you
Yeah.
know
No.
what I'm talking about. And she also has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and so we've been through a lot with both. And she became very. She couldn't tolerate meats or anything by the time she was 10. And so there we were. I was doing reduction diets and elimination diets to the point where you didn't have the access to all this back then as you do now, where you could say, she can't eat any meat. Here we go.
Hmm.
Now my daughter's going to be a vegetarian. So you see where I'm going with this. I had to self learn so much on my own that I went to school for it. And that's how it came about. So I initially
Let me
dealt
let
with,
me just stop you for a sec. I mean, you are incredibly strong person,
thank you.
very resilient, and I mean, life throws us things. It knocks us down. It throws us unexpected curveballs, and there's nothing that we can do about that. But it's how we react. And you did what you had to do. You made some tough decisions, leaving work to because you had to do it. And sometimes
Okay.
that's what life is. Sometimes life is there's things we have to do, and there's no getting around it. You do it, right? But it sounds like you were able to study and learn and keep yourself healthy because you knew you had to. And so
Yes.
these things that happen to us sometimes make us stronger and put us in the position where then we can help others.
And yeah, exactly. So obviously I was born with that nurturing side to begin with. Because that's a very natural part of me for whatever. Oh, helping friends move. Yeah, I'll be there. You want a garden planet? Okay, I'll help you. So it's been never ending with that kind of passion I have for people. Um, it's just, you know, you never really stopped and said, oh, wow. I love helping people. I think I'll make money from this. It's never been a
Oh,
it was never a question. I really I mean, I was a case also a social worker in the middle of all this when I was actually taking
mhm.
the health courses, and, the helping them was a whole different story. You weren't helping them nutritionally, you're helping them financially, you're helping them so I learned by talking to so many of them where they're some were suicidal. So I just realized I just had a natural way of speaking to them so that they would phone me and thank me. They went to see that specialist I mentioned, or they went to and that wasn't my job. That was just me talking. I'm just saying it's off the record really. I'm not I'm not a physician and I'm not this or that, but I'll tell you, this is a real good guy that looks after pediatrics and there's a really good because I dealt with so much of it, right? So when we move on to the ladies, I'm at that point in my life too. So now I resonate with women that are empty nesters, feel like they don't have a purpose in this life now, approaching retirement. And I'm here to embrace them and share with them so that they can get their sexy back too and not put everyone else ahead of them anymore. It's her time to shine. So that's where I'm at with it's been an evolution, right? I've
Yeah.
I've grown with my passion is what's happened.
So you went from helping people as a social worker and helping guide them to different resources and stuff. When was the moment that you decided that you wanted to sort of focus on helping the niche of women over 40? Like, what was the moment? How did that happen?
Okay, well, um, I'd say it started happening strongly by between 2018 and 2020.
What was
So
going
now
on in your life then? Why that time?
I was leaving I was leaving a narcissistic ex.
Okay.
Um, I had been retired from social services at that point. So I just left. I was studying with the health while that was ending. And um, I just remember thinking, there's so many people think that their their ex's dreams their dream, or this person. It was a uncomfortable relationship on top of that. So I wanted to just keep on growing, and I knew I just wanted to get out there and help people because I'd been approached most of my adult life about recipes, about how I do this, how I do that. Can you show me? And I baked wedding cakes and I decorated weddings, my daughters included, and sewed. And so a lot of people would come to me for um, tips and, hacks or whatever. So anything that they wanted done, they would kind of come to me and get pointers. So it got to the point where it was like, wow, I'm just gonna continue on with this. This is where I belong. So many people are calling me about health stuff. They're calling me about food. They're calling I'm just plunging in. This is it. This is what I want to do. And I always had massive gardens and,
Hmm.
gave away half my plants when I was dividing them. And yeah, so it all seems like such a natural progression as it was going. And so, in 20 so I knew I was leaving this person, and I've been on my own ever since, actually. My son lives with me, but, I just wanted to do it on my own terms. I just wanted to do it my way. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do, and I was tired of being told what to do, to be honest.
Yeah, I like it. I
You
like
can't
it.
picture me you can't picture me taking too much of that, can you? But for some
No,
strange
I can't.
reason no, I know. Um, it's unbelievable because, I had a very violent mother. I won't get into that, but I'm so much like my dad. Both my parents are gone, but I so much like my dad, so easygoing, love cooking, love the, nature, and it's just inbred. It's just there, and yeah, so I have so many books. I have so many I share so many recipes. It's just a thing. I just feel like a walking encyclopedia for encyclopedia for health. you know?
You have a Nourish to Flourish 8-week program. Tell
I
me
do.
about that. Like, how do you help people? What do you do with them?
Okay. So when I so there's obviously 8 elements to that, but I can shorten it if a person's done the courses, the modules sooner. So initially when I start with them, I have to know whether I can work with them, just like you do. You you wanna know that you're a good fit, first of all. So, you talk, you do a live talk like such as this. If I feel it's a fit, then I'll say, "Okay, so the first module is I'm gonna do an assessment on you." It's a confidential assessment. I can even give it back to you when we're done, but we do it together. So that entails everything. I brought it down from a 14-page assessment down to, I think I'm down to 4
Okay.
because it was tiring. It was a lot of work to go through that much. So we worked it down to everything that she likes, her food, what she drinks, her fitness level, what she does for outside. Does she walk? Does she Everything's in this.
Mhm.
So from there, so it's very cut and dried. So I can see at a glance where we need to work.
Are people
And
genuinely honest with you in that?
I find so.
Okay.
I think it's only happened a couple times, and I don't have couples doing this, but this happened to be I was doing a couple for a favor for another colleague, and I think I was really kind of disappointed because I worked really hard on them, and I did a no charge thing for the friend. He was in Australia, and it just so happens this couple was not far from you actually. So I did work with them for 8 weeks, and it was a specific program. What he didn't tell me is that he was a severe alcoholic, and,
Mhm.
so his wife lost probably about 25 pounds working with me, and I think he gained 25, and then anytime I tried to reach out to do a Zoom with them, because it's all virtual, right?
Mhm.
Or phone him. I could never get him. And his friend that recommended him to me phoned me from Australia and was almost crying. He's so embarrassed. He said he fell off the wagon. I said, "Well, I kind of figured he did that a while ago, but he
Mhm.
never once told me." So, yeah, in that case, I think that's the only case I remember
Hey,
where
life
somebody
happens. Life happens.
yeah, and that no judgment, I'm just saying that that did happen, and his wife did well with it, but I think she ended
Mhm.
up leaving him after that, which is too bad because he was a really nice person. They usually are, but
Well,
that's a
people
sad
gotta
story.
face down and work on their demons. Everybody's
That's
gotta
right,
do it.
that's right. So, from there, after I when I do assessments like that, I work on the plan with them, and I have a multitude of different plans. I deal with vegans, vegetarian, omnivore, you know, carnivore, whatever, keto, whatever their,
Mhm.
lifestyle is, and I can work with them in that capacity, right? Um, so so they're all different, so in my store on that's just getting loaded up right now, finishing loaded up on school, will have all of the programs in there.
Okay.
So I do have a 28-day, reboot your body free challenge. I'm going to start that up again probably June, and I've had success with that. A few people have lost anywhere from 12 to 15 pounds.
That's
Um,
big.
yeah, that is big, and working at it too, right?
So
Even swapping up.
you help them with nutrition, you help them with mindset, you help them with diet, you help them
Yes,
with, movement, like it's an all-inclusive package, right?
yep, holistic, all of them.
Total makeover. Okay.
Yep, yeah. So yeah, so a lot of people say, "What's holistic?" So that's why I did a post earlier today. I should have done a post on your page for you. But a lot of people say, "What's holistic?" It's whole, it's all of us. It's all of us, because it all
Cool.
matters.
So let me ask you, who's the type of person that you work well with? Who's the type of person that should contact you? What are they going through in life?
Okay, normally 40 plus, could even be older, but, I've worked with 40 in their 40s. Um, they're normally, entering or are empty nesters, have always put everybody else ahead of
Okay.
them, have worked all their lives. They're either now, divorced, widowed, still could be married, but not sure what they're gonna do with their life with retirement approaching. So I think that a lot of them feel they're not a pivotal, spot in society anymore once they retire, because that's all they've done, and they've
Mhm.
always looked after everybody else first. So that's who I resonate or who resonates with me because so many are lost. Like, so we also get into um, a lot of discussions about, well, let's, not just looking at your trying to get your sexy back, because hey, who doesn't want to do that? But to try to find new ways to have a healthy and happy life, right? Like, this is
Mhm.
not just like, so many people think, "Oh, that's the end of my life. Like, when I retire, I don't know what I'm gonna do, just sit home, watch TV," and but it's such a e exhilarating new start to life.
I mean, a
It
lot of people, it's been shown that a lot of people die after they retire because they've lost their meaning, right? So you help
they've lost yep,
people
they've
find
lost their
meaning and
purpose.
purpose. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So losing their purpose is a big one, is one of the biggest ones I see. Aside from mostly with the women is want to lose the weight because I work 12-hour shifts. And I always just worried about the kids. I just, so now they just don't even know what to do with themselves. So it's a whole body makeover. It's let's get your mindset switched around. So maybe you'd like to take some dance courses, dance classes,
Mhm.
exercise classes, pick up a new instrument. Hey, grab a guitar. They're cheap. You can get them cheap at a used store and
Yep.
but I love gardening and I play music and that's not why I'm saying it, but they're the ideas to me that people say to me, "Yeah, I'd like to play guitar. That would be fun." Or picking on a piano or so it's just things that people don't look at during that 30 years of dealing with kids or that 20 years and husbands and those issues. They just don't look at themselves. They don't they don't look at them as the important entity in the family. It's everybody else, right? So it's hard to go from that to focusing on you without feeling then I also work with them where they're not feeling guilty about that because you get, "Oh, I can't look after, why would I matter?" So there's the
Mhm.
mindset and meditations and just a lot of togetherness where, I'll go on 2 Zooms a week with them. It doesn't matter to me, whatever they want.
All right. So they get great support. And so they contact you through your community, right? Your
Yep.
community is called what? I'll put a link to.
It's so funny, you know what? I always do this. I never ever seem to I'm it is actually Thrive for women 40 plus.
That's what it's called?
Yeah, that's how you'll find it. Yeah.
I forget the name. People ask me what the name of my community is. I forget it all the time. So what?
I don't
Okay. So how are you enjoying school?
I love it. I do. It's kind of funny when I first came in, I didn't really know the concept. You
Hmm.
first anything that's new, and I thought and then I had different ones saying, "Hey, I don't see in the community very much." And I was saying, "Well, what do I have to go in there for?"
Mm,
Just kind of dopey about it.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I go from not really understanding the concept, but really getting it now. And then I overwhelmed myself and kind of went down a rabbit hole because I had about 16 communities. Well, you can't be practical with that many, but I have that many interests. So that's when I thought, now what do I do? So it just made sense in one of the Zooms with Phil that no wonder I was getting burned out because I was taking on everyone's
Mm,
community. And it just can't be done. He said, it just can't be
yeah.
done, Kim. You just so then I slowed down and I go in and I can do those few posts a day. And I said, "What do you mean I can post in somebody else's community?" Like
Hmm.
he said, "Yeah, if you're working on it." Like,
Well, I'm really open to having people post in the Alive Again Collective, so feel free. I love it
thank
when our
you.
members post. So we just have a couple minutes. So I just wanted you, do you have any words of wisdom that you want to share with anybody as we wrap up?
Um, just be kind to yourself. Know that you do matter. And this is, ladies, this is the most exciting, exhilarating chapter of life. It's for
Mhm.
you. You've done your work, right? Like you should be proud. So yeah, no, I think that if I can swing them around the other way, there's a lot of people that'll be happier than, well, I'm seeing a lot more happier people. And
That's
that
beautiful.
that is the word of wisdom is that look after you. It's you're your castle. You're the only one that can do it. And it's your happiness counts on you. It's not anybody else that can do it anymore. But through life, that's what happens, right? You get too busy and everybody else is your responsibility. Well, now you are your responsibility. So treat
Take
it like a
care of you.
temple,
Well,
right?
thank you so much for coming on, Kim. It was a lot of fun, and I learned some new stuff about you I didn't know. And yeah,
Thank you.
that's one of the great parts of school. So, guys, I'll put the link in if you want to reach out to Kim. Like healing, it's a combination of all these different things, right? And sometimes need to hear messages from different sources for them to really click in.
I
So if you
agree.
connect with Kim, reach out to her. She's got like a ton of real life experience in helping
Yeah,
people.
I appreciate it, Tony. Thank you so much for allowing me, inviting me in. This has just been a blast, and you're a lovely person.
All right, sending you some energy. Woo!
You got it.
Okay, peace.
Peace. Thank you.